Greetings now, welcome to this video. So we just had a FUT Champions Cup held in Singapore, and there was the Xbox final. Tekkz, the best player in the world this year for sure, against Levy, Frederique, if I said that correctly, I hope. A Dutch player, plays in the Eredivisie, experienced player, very strong player who made a deserving, amazing performance. And there was a lot of talk about it because apparently Levy played amazing. And I did like a lot of his intricacies, a lot of his offensive play. So I wanted to give my take on it and analyze some of the situations. Before we get into that, huge thank you to everybody who watched my last video. All the positive response was amazing. Thank you. It took a lot of time, and so that makes it all worth it. Now, disclaimer. If you sit at home and you play a game of FIFA and you get angry or triggered by all the broken mechanics, I don't blame you. You know, that's fine. You should be mad because a lot of the things that I have outlined it should just be not in the game, or at the very least be very rare. But when they happen in favor of the best players in the world, like Tekkz, if you just blink your eye and you just excuse it because he's the best, I'm sorry to say this, but you're part of the problem, okay? I take no credit away from him. My analysis of what happens in this game has nothing to do with him. It is not a critique on him. It's a critique on the game, right? I used to criticize finesse shots, first-time finesse shots. And but like I said here in this tweet that you could see, back then I was saying I'm sure of it. Tekkz is going to be a lot better after they patch finesse shots, because he shows how dominant he is, right? But that doesn't change the fact that if he doesn't deserve to win a game, he just doesn't deserve to win a game. It's not a personal attack on him. You are part of the problem if you criticize finesse shots, or you used to criticize finesse shots, but if Tekkz won via those, then it was okay. No, it's just never okay. You're either for them or against them in this case. It's not one of those things where it has to be either black or white. Now, as you can see here, though, there was a tweet from FUT Economist where he showed how the hell did this go in, and it was a finesse shot from Tekkz, and Courtois was being weird. And as a joke, I said he was bathing in a skill gap. It was a joke. It's a joke to take a little bit of the piss out of the situation about how strong finesse shots are. But because it's Tekkz, people put words in my mouth, right? They start saying, well, there is a skill gap. They try and make it look like I'm undermining him, when in reality, like I say here, I shouldn't have to, right? I should be able to criticize, the gameplay without it being seen as a personal attack on Tekkz. Excuse the Vespa in the background if you hear it. This is recorded in Italy. But nonetheless, but again, if you excuse broken mechanics because in this situation they happen for who you deem the best, then you're part of the problem. You have to remain objective. The same way when Ronaldo scored against Bayern, it was offside. It's Ronaldo, it's Real Madrid. It doesn't matter. He was offside. It doesn't matter who he is. He's offside, right? That being said, though, let's look at this game because it's definitely one worth looking at. And there's a few things I want to give my take on. Now, straight off kickoff, we're going to accelerate it. Tekkz does score off kickoff, which is unfortunate. Whether you believe it's a thing or not, to score off kickoff is one thing. But here we have the ball with Vieira up to Gullit, and then a first-time power shot, finesse shot. I'm not even sure what that is with Mbappe. I think this speaks for itself. That shouldn't happen. Levi's super unlucky that it goes under his legs. I don't care if he green times it. Check out my shooting video from the past. I don't think a green time shot warrants a goal from the situation because the defender did everything right. Although I will say this, if this game was a lot better, players like Tekkz wouldn't have to score these goals. They would score normal goals because the game would allow them to. There's a few things that are weird here. The defensive line is so far back, and it's hard to break it down. So unfortunately, this is what has to happen. But in the grand scheme of things, not a good goal, in my opinion. And, of course, it's already a tough ask for Levy. As we look at the second clip, and it starts, it's refreshing to see that these issues happen at the biggest level as well. Levy does a good trap. He's aware of the situation. He's got this side under control, so he actively switches, doesn't get the ball back, and it allows Tekkz to reset his possession. Levi's team is squished back, so he has to deal with another you know, a few minutes of Tekkz going up and down or breaking him down. In reality, that should have been it. He should be like, he should have the opportunity for a counter. And here I want to outline his Tekksz's amazing pressure. He's so good at pressing, and this is not something I noticed this game. I've always noticed this. He's so confident in the pressing that he doesn't mind sacrificing his team shape. He plays a 4-2-3-1, so his team shape is really solid, but he doesn't mind. He's that good at pressing that he can let go. As you can see, one of his CDMs is there, his other one is here. So you have this huge hole, and if you're an incredible possession player, this is what you have to exploit against Tekkz. You have to try and outpress or outpass his press. Way easier said than done. But look how far out he pushes with Vieira, and you know, there are opportunities for Levi to get in, and he tries, but he's so fast at player switching with Hullet, and he breaks him down. You know, sometimes you see players like Nicholas who do this as well, where he sacrifices the shape of the 4-2-3-1 for a hard press. But someone like Nicholas is a lot more organized defensively compared to Tekkz. And this isn't a bad thing to be disorganized, because when you're this good like Tekkz, you can be disorganized. Because, you know, if this pass goes through, Tekkz might be in trouble, but that's the thing. He doesn't let this pass go through, which is a testament to his incredible pressing. Because, again, here, it wouldn't be good ordinarily to push your CDM that far out, but Tekkz is that good. So we go on to the next clip where we see Levi again on the offensive, and this is one of them things, which is why, you know, if Tekkz does a pass and it goes through someone's legs and I criticize it, I'm not undermining Tekkz. I'm undermining the game. Because look in this case, Tekkz is, again, so good at positioning himself defensively, but because the game allows these passes to go, he becomes a worse player. So if I say that Tekkz, you know, would be a good player because of the passing being, you know, better, or the interceptions being more effective, it's true. Like, if I ever criticize a pass that Tekkz does because it goes through someone's legs, I'm not undermining Tekkz. I'm undermining the game. If the game was better, Tekkz would be even more dominant. Okay, so again, I know I'm going over this a lot, but there's so many people who put words in my mouth anytime I say something against a play that happened to go in favor of Tekkz, when it's never about him specifically. It's about the game, right? So here, Tekkz should have broken out into a counterattack because it went through Vieira's legs. And the same thing happens in the next clip, where Tekkz should be easily on the counter. And this is something that was very prevalent in my video. This whole animation, just receive the ball, dude. Stop doing this animation like you're getting hit. This needs to stop so we can move on and have more counterattacks, because the more balls you can intercept, the more counterattacks you can have, the less overpowered drop back is, because if you cut a passing lane, the opponent will not have time to drop back. So that's your window of opportunity to break down a drop back, which doesn't exist in this game because, you know, it won't let you intercept. And here we have a chance from Tekkz. The fact that these are chances is mind-boggling to me. That's really all you got to say about this. This is what the best player in the world has to create. And this is not saying anything. It's not a sarcastic comment. Tekkz is by far the best player in the world. He could break you down so well, as he proved in FIFA 18, if, you know, there were other features in the game which allowed you to. But because the game doesn't allow you to, he has to go for these plays, right? And that's a waste. Someone with Tekkz talent in dribbling and passing should be able to do that, as this leads to another chance, which is so lucky this doesn't go in. It is interesting. Team of the Year Ronaldo. This is not even on target. So lucky. Levi really does get away with murder here. And here an example of Levi's play, which I wanted to outline. This is when I started to realize, okay, yeah, I see the type of player he is. Quick thinking in the final third, a lot of one-touch passing, and he makes really good triangles. But here, it doesn't matter because, again, Tekkz's defense is so good. Right here, the switch to Varane is so quick. He reacts so fast, and he's so precise in putting pressure on that he is able to pretty much nullify a really dangerous situation. So, I mean, Tekkz is a phenomenal defender. And unfortunately, the game, it's one of his most appreciated features because of the game. Because of what the game outlines, other people focus on different things, but his defense is outrageously good. And here, another example of how interestingly, or not really interesting, but how well Levi attacks. Like, I appreciate the fact that he's so fast at doing these passes, but this chance speaks volumes about the game. How on God's green earth this pass goes through, I will never know. This should never, ever, 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 ever go through. But, you know, we're going to ignore this. And this is, again, I started to realize how good Levi is at quick passing in the box. So that's his forte. And again, he gets lucky this pulls off. But again, I'm just going to appreciate his quick thinking, gets saved. 78th minute, and pretty sure this is the last chance we look in the first game. And here, it's a nice play. This pass is great, even though it looks like it might not have been pulled off, but it does. He just does get it pulled off right next to Marcelo. He gets the ball to Neymar here, and unlike the previous chance of player switching with Varane that I showed you with Tekkz, here he doesn't switch to him, which allows Levi to reap the rewards, or collect the rewards of his play. Slightly move with Neymar and shoot. Unfortunately here, this doesn't go in, and it's a shame because of the goalkeeper movement, which I think ruins the game. And he doesn't even move that much here, to be fair. I think this should just be a goal. This has to be a goal. He deserves to end this game 1-1. You know, Tekkz's first goal was an abomination, but the empty net he missed with Ronaldo kind of, you know, all in all, 1-1 would have been a fair score after this, and he got really unlucky. But a good play from here, and Tekkz just wasn't able to switch to this player. Maybe, you know, we see that maybe it was a glitch in the player switching, because I'm not sure why he selected this. Maybe he's just focusing on player or moving the keeper. But nonetheless, great play from Levi. Unlucky here. And okay, no, this is the last play. And again, an example of his quick passing in the box. Here, he kind of chokes. He went first post. He got juked out by the keeper movement, and rightly doesn't score because he should have shot second post. One thing I want to say is these plays, for some reason, they're much more, they're easily done right after a free kick. Every time you have a free kick, if you take it short, your percentage of completing a play like this, one touch, is a lot higher. I don't know why that is, but whatever. This is why goalkeeper movement shouldn't be in the game, right? This is how OP it is. And if it should be in the game, it should be like super discreet. He gets to this position, he's selecting him, and just look at Marcelo. Marcelo is running off the pitch. What does that tell you? That tells you the only thing Tekkz is thinking about is moving his keeper. The fact that that's the only thing you're thinking about at this stage is atrocious, and just shows you how much of the rhythm goalkeeper movement breaks. You know, it causes him to self-doubt himself, to just doubt himself in the situation when it's an easy shot, pretty much second post. But, you know, goalkeeper is in the game, so you have to account for it. But I'm saying for next year, it shouldn't be. But in the context of FIFA 19, Tekkz does a great job of baiting him, right? Obviously. But I just don't think it's a balanced feature when it goes so far to the fact that you can run with Marcelo off the pitch and only focus on him, right? Like, what is that defending? Obviously, he's not doing that on purpose, but the point is he's only focused on that. That's the problem. And that's it for leg one. We go into leg two. There just weren't a lot of chances to look at. And in leg two, it starts with Levi with a good dribble. And this is a tricky situation. I don't know myself. Should this be... In real life, if this happens, you know, Neymar falls down. Is it a pen at that point? Is it not? I mean, he did get done here. He is clearly behind him. Or maybe should this animation just not happen and then you're allowed to continue dribbling? Let me know what you guys think. I'm not sure what should happen here. Because if this animation happens this often, then he has to fall and you get a pen, right? But if it doesn't happen, or if he doesn't fall and he doesn't get a pen, then this animation should just not happen, right? He's behind him and he should just be allowed to keep dribbling because he did get done by here. But again, even at the top level, dribbling, man, it's just not good enough. And here, same chance as before. Second attempt of this, the fact that someone so good with such good vision has to resort to these attacks speaks volume on the state of the game. It's a shame. It's definitely a shame to see. And here we see an attack from Levi, right? We get the ball to Eusebio, Ronaldo, a really nice play. And this is pretty much carbon copy. This is how good he is at these plays. He keeps getting himself in the situations to force the defender to manually block. Although I will say this, I'm not a fan of how deep the defense drops, right? As a defender, I would like to avoid these situations. So I would rather be in risk of through balls and make sure my defense always stays at most here. even if I'm more vulnerable to through balls. However, the game doesn't allow us that because, you know, last year in custom tactics, you could go from cover to offside trap. And I'm not talking about the offside trap you can spam on the D-pad. Literally under defense in custom tactics, you could either do offside trap or cover. That would hold your line a little bit better and avoid these situations. Yes, you'd be more vulnerable to through balls, but I'd like the option to limit these opportunities because they are dangerous, as Levi shows. And the fact that he doesn't score this is an abomination, right? 16th minute into the second leg, and the fact that Levi is losing is interesting, to say the least. But we keep going, and here, again, the fact that these work goes under him, it's just unlucky, man. That's the state of FIFA 19. Not much more to add there. And again, the same play, Levi's trying it, but this time, look how good Tekkz is, man. Switches into Ferdinand. This little movement, he's going this way, right? The stage is set for Levi to juke him out, but look how quickly he is to go back up with Ferdinand. Boom, catches up. That is prime defending and pretty much surgical precision on his analog stick. He is nice on the sticks, that's for sure. And third attempt of this cross, it works. Complete abomination. It's already tough ask to beat Tekkz, the best game in the world. Now he has a 2-goal cushion on 2 fluky goals. And at the same time, broken, unbalanced features have stopped Levi from tying the score. So I think at this point, it's safe to say at the very least, the score should be tied, right? Levi did get lucky with that open net from Tekkz. However, Levi should have definitely scored one of the chances he had in front of net, regardless of goalkeeper movement. But so all in all, I don't think it's a stretch to say at this point, almost 3/4 of the way through, it should be tied score. 2-0, really unfortunate, and he makes it 3-0 in the second half of the second leg through this completely RNG situation. Yes, he green times it, but the body positioning of Hullet is not that great, could easily be saved. Look how far right he's standing. This is the first post. He should be standing right here. De Gea, right? Terrible goalkeeping. I mean, I'm all for bad goalkeeping if you're in the central area. If you're this far to the side, looking that way, I don't care if you green time it, but whatever. The main point here really is just the RNG out of the situation is nuts, right? He goes for this and it doesn't work, but it ends up working accidentally. It's just an RNG goal. It's all it is, really, as we look at Levi's play here, where granted he kind of got lucky in these 2 passes, but again, really nice play here. His triangles are deadly and he puts a lot of pressure for you to manually defend in the box. Here he chokes a little bit because but you know, it's understandable. You're on the big stage, pressure. He does look pretty calm, but still, if he does the pass here, you're golden, right? In this moment, instead of shooting, you can do the pass here, but it is what it is, man. Unlucky. Who knows how many things are going through his mind, but nonetheless, a great play from him. And this is where Tekkz gets a chance. I don't know how I feel about this chance. Nothing wrong with this, you know, calculated header, but the fact that this pass pulls off is a little bit RNG. I want to say, I have a feeling that maybe he didn't want to be this aggressive. I think maybe the defender automatically magnetizes off of him. There's nothing too wrong, but I can see how this chance is one of them chances. Like, if you've played enough FIFA 19, you've had a lot of these where first time passes in this area are just super random. Sometimes they work for you, sometimes they don't, and you either break through or you keep losing the ball over and over. But I guess no harm done. The shot didn't go through, even though it may have deserved a finish, but nonetheless, one of those chances where I'm not sure where I stand, just putting it there for context sake. And here, Jesus, the state of this chance or goal is really unfortunate. This is one of them where you can be hypercritical and be like, yeah, Levi should have been more aware of the fact that he's right there, but at the same time, the defender can try and do a little more to get out of his way. Instead of running here, just stop right here and you allow him to go. But overall, you know, he has his faults. The game has his faults. Just, you hate to see this. Hate to see the situation here. Really nice goal. Nothing to say about this goal, to be honest. Yeah, he powers shots in the first post, but I really like the fact that he punishes Levi here for overcommitting. He switches out too late, where he should have tried to recuperate. And great ball, great vision, great timing of it, everything. And he's in. Nothing to say about this goal. 5-0 in aggregate, 4-0 in this leg. Here, Levi gets really, really, really lucky. And this goal gets saved on the line, which is... but the point of this, besides the luck of the rebound, is, again, this just shows you how broken goalkeeper movement it is. Just look at Marcelo for a second. I'm going to play this through. Just look at Marcelo and nothing else. Look at how he runs. You know what that means? That means that he's doing nothing, and I don't blame Tekkz. I'm criticizing the game, not Tekkz. He's doing nothing but going this way with Tekkz, because that's how OP trying to juke someone out with the keeper is. This doesn't happen, man. Like, what is this movement? It's confusing. The direction that FIFA is going to, are you trying to make it arcadey, or are you trying to make it realistic? Because that's not realistic if you're trying to make it realistic. Right? But then there's realistic features like slowing down pace. So do you want to make it realistic or arcadey? I don't know. It doesn't make sense. But the fact that he can just run with Marcelo here while focusing on the keeper, that says everything you need to know about keeper movement. And then here, Levi gets unlucky. Like, this should never be a goal. This chance should never be a goal. Horrible pass into Vieira, high ball, leads to a header for Ronaldo. Weird rebound, glitchy situation. Yes, he green times it. But it's a random situation, just like a lot of Tekkz situations. And of course, here it goes back to the fact that at the end of the day, what happened in this game is that Tekkz is really clinical in these glitchy, undeserved situations, and he was able to get the lead as a result of that, right? And then here, abomination of a goal again, because what can you do? First of all, there has to be some sort of weird, some sort of limit to this chaining. Like, it's out of control. There was a video by Inception that proves that there's an easy way to pull this off, so it's not as complicated as you want. This is just playing off the randomness, and it bounces off. Yes, he green times it, but it speaks for itself. Just really, really, really unlucky, and that's how it ends. All in all, I think there's nothing to say negatively about anyone who plays. It's just a fact that the game is not good enough to be competitive, right? It's just not good enough. And it's a shame because, players like Tekkz could do so much more in terms of scoring better goals. It doesn't matter if the result wouldn't change. The fact that these things are happening are not okay. And it does take away the possibilities for players like Levi to have a good match on the day. Because on the day, he looked good. If you consider that those are the only goals Tekkz scored, Levi played amazing. And this could have been an upset. But, the game just doesn't allow it because of the complete randomness. But that's what I had to say on the subject. I hope you enjoyed. Again, disclaimer. I'm not taking anything away from Tekkz. Me saying that something happened that Tekkz didn't deserve doesn't mean I'm saying he's not the best in the world. Please don't put words in my mouth. And on that note, see you next time.